Got it.
Ready to go? And whenever you're ready.
Okay.
I think John.
He said he was going to be gone. Okay, we'll call to order and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hands. God.
Roll call. Start, Mike.
Charles?
Ron Thomas.
Eddie Youngworth?
Nickel?
Dan Allers.
Andy Paniagua.
And John said he would be absent today, so we'll get moving along. Next, we'll do the approval of the October 19th minutes. I do
We have the minutes?
Do we have the minutes? They're down, they should be underneath.
Those are it.
Do we have them?
I believe you only get the copy.
I only get the
Everyone else
copy,
was sent
so
the
I just
copy.
ask them if they approve it.
Yes. If
Okay.
there's any amendments to it.
I didn't see any amendments. I read from what we went over.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay. Any public comment? You here today? County sheriffs, do you have any updates?
Morning.
Morning.
Lieutenant Mark Benor with the Sheriff's Office. I spoke with our investigative sergeant this morning. We've had no notable crime trends down here on the beach. The holiday season coming up, just to make public to lock their cars as usual and to be cognizant of target, so to speak, if they're leaving gifts and such in their vehicle. Just to keep that in mind. Other than that, notable crime trends.
Great. Any comment from anybody? Also, we tell people to lock up their bikes as well, since just in case, through all the good stuff.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So, you're welcome.
Fire department?
Morning. Fire department, for the first time, I think Randy's included our runs from October in your report. October was a fairly mild month, no major events to speak of. Had about 280 calls, typical separation between medical and fire related. We had the boat races in October. In Lee County EMS, the Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, this is our second year this group, and the crowds were great and call volume was pretty low. So
Thank you. Items from the council. All went through with council last month with our special group. We went through all the outstanding items, and which was really nice. I thought it was a fruitful meeting. We cleared out quite a few things that we have been sitting on and revisiting over and over and over again. We took the liberty of paring everything down, and we are down to agenda works. I did some subsets, because some of the things, again, we are going to wait until they're done, and then other things, we have some action items that I think we need to do, or we need to work with other committees, or with the town, or with Jenny at information distribution to the residents and guests. So our first outstanding item is regarding the code blue for the station. Town council did agree that day that they were going to finish the project, and so now we're just waiting for the thing to be completed. We did talk with them about budget was set in the earlier that they did have the money for the actual code blue service, and so they said they would do that, and then the next step would be, once this is done, we would decide if we're going to do the remaining down the island. Anybody want to add to any of this?
Do you have an update on that?
What I remember in the meeting, they said that they would add it to their agenda. I'm not sure if that's in their next upcoming agenda. MMP
Wasn't on
or the
yesterday,
other
I know that.
It was my understanding that we were going to discuss the shelters, potential shelters throughout the rest of the island. There was some advertising discussion. I don't know, but I guess I don't recall that there was ever a definitive agreement to put up the code blue until those discussions were had. But
Okay.
I'd want to go back and double check the
We'll
minutes
check
to make
that.
sure, but my understanding is that we were gonna, what the status would be with the county and Lee-Tran for the other trolley stops, and potentially maybe get these incorporated in there. If you remember, I think the worry was if we do one, then we'll be expected to do all of them if they decide to move forward. So I'll follow up to make sure that gets added to an agenda.
Okay. Just to repeat, we're gonna have, the town council is gonna go over it. They're going to review if Code Blue is going to be put in the station, and it's going to be in conjunction with deciding if we're gonna do the rest of the island as well as allowing advertising. Once they know, if they decide not to, at that point, do the Code Blue, and I think at this point, this is off, we're off the, it's off our agenda, and the station is done, but without that. Homeless community outreach, I do have a meeting today with Denise. I'm gonna meet with her after this, and then we are going to set up a time for a special meeting with our group and whoever they decide they would like to bring involved with the churches. And we will get that done in the next month. And I'll check everybody's schedule, but it is, I'm meeting with her today, and we will go with that. Anybody have anything they want to add that I should bring up, or prior to me setting anything up? Is there a time strength? Do you want it earlier or later?
Be careful about the holidays.
Yeah.
Right. I figure this is their busy time of year with the churches, so what they say.
You might be better off January, unfortunately.
I'll let her know that.
Don, I'm looking forward to this is learning the scope of what kind of services available and what the organizational structure is that kind of facilitates this process, so that we can better understand exactly what's happening in Lee County, and we can contribute if we
Has anyone reached out? Maybe Lieutenant can help with this, with the hot team from the county, to some input from them, or see if they wanted to be involved in that meeting?
I was gonna ask them, I was gonna invite Lee County, I was gonna, the fire department, I was gonna invite all parties that be once we get a meeting going. Again, taking into consideration, I know we're getting into a crazy time right now. It would be, can get it done in early January, I would.
We definitely love to be involved in that. Just let me know. Been working. We had an operation a couple weeks ago with the hot team, with Human and Veteran Services. It's a different, not on the beach, but it's just off the beach. We had a couple homeless up, and we went in the hot team, offered them all the services that were available, and of the 8 people that were living on 2 separate parcels, that we 3 of them accepted the service, which to them was a success. Health service, and other ones took shelter. So the resources are available. It's just whether or not some accept them, and that's part of the discussion.
We'll ask this of, but has Lee County Sheriff been noticing an influx on the island right now, or is it just status quo since we're not to season yet?
From what I've noticed and from my conversations with the churches, it's been steady.
Okay. It's getting colder up north.
I just got back from up there, and
Me too.
And when you talk about problems, that's all over. So.
Lieutenant, could you, for the public that may not know what the hot team is, could you kind of give them just a brief synopsis of what the hot team does?
It's the homeless outreach team. It's basically a group. It comes from a combined group of the Human and Veteran Services. They have the connections with like Solace Care and the Salvation Army. And also there's volunteers. There was members of Sanibel Police, Cape Coral Police, Lee County Sheriff's Office. And so it's just a gathering of all those individual resources combined together to go out and provide them with whatever resources they need to get off the streets or to get assistance, whatever type of assistance. So it's a combined effort of law enforcement and the Human and Veteran Services together. They even had a bus. We had a bus available to pick up one of the individuals. He's handicapped. We picked him up, brought him to Salvation Army. fine effort.
Great, thank you. We'll keep you, I'll send an email out and we'll do it either through Randy or directly. We'll get a hold of you after we. Date.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
For that meeting date, is that something you would like to do at town hall?
I don't know what's the norm. I don't think they did it at town hall last time. I think they did do it at the church. So, let me ask Denise, we'll see maybe it is better just to do it at the church. And
Because I feel like that's something we should have record of,
then,
a special session or.
Special meeting.
Right, I'm okay with having it here, and then maybe if we have, we open to the public and let public comment.
That would, yep, be up to you.
Okay. Bicycle lights and bells. I added this as a subset. We've got the bicycle lights and bells. Now I think we have to come up with a plan and work with public information and ready to disseminate it. I'd like to work with the fire department here, working with PTO at the school to get the kids involved. I know they handed it out at Halloween. And this is where I'm not sure. Do we come up with a calendar? Do we work with, start reaching out to the schools and to everybody? Am I not loud enough? Okay. Do we come up with town works? Because we come up with a marketing plan and hand it out. Do we work with the fire department? Do we reach out to the PTO to try to get the schools involved? Do we work with community as well, the people who rent their homes and Airbnb and VRBO and vacation rentals, to get them to come down to maybe the fire station area, where the new building's going to be, and have an event for a Saturday? Is that something we set the date for, or do I work hand in hand with public information?
I would say the coordination would be on your end, and the PIO would coordinate that with you as well. Just as I know that they have some pop-up ideas that they'd like to do as well. Within the town-owned property, so the Mound House, Bay Oaks, any other event. So in terms of that, having those stakeholders, whether the fire department or the sheriff's office, it'll be up to you guys. Safety committee.
So, that being said, I'd like to suggest, and I'd be more than happy to talk to her, to meet with her, figure out what their pop-ups are going to be. I'd like to know what our quantities are, where we're at right now, and how many we handed out at Halloween. Do we need to put more next year? And then find out what her plan is, and then work with fire department, and I'll call the school as well, and we'll see if we could get something with schools, with the kids there who live on island, to do an event there. Maybe there's something that you're already planning, fire, or that we can coordinate it with it so we're not doubling up on things. And
I think they had to order them. I think.
We just ordered a new batch because some of them were used for the trunk or treat.
right. So what is our quantity we're at now?
Completely depleted on those. So I think the new batch is coming in at the end of this month or the beginning of next.
Okay, and what's that total number?
300.
We have budget to do what? How many do we have budgeted to purchase for this year?
Just up to the add-on list amount of money. So I think that was 2,400.
24, 2,500.
I was thinking, so for 300. What I'll do is we'll figure out these handouts, and if we need more, we'll get them so that we're ahead of the game.
Yep.
And have a small supply here so that we can get it done
Waiting
before
on them.
season's over. Get it out in January when everybody's back here and everything's full swing. Any other comments about, and we talked about lights. Do we want to do the bells or anything?
In terms of what, distribution of bells and lights?
Because we
Maybe
just
it's
have lights,
We
correct?
just have lights.
We still have bells. I think we only distributed a couple along with the trunk or treat event, but most of the box is still.
Okay,
We have
we'll
bells.
include that.
Okay.
My thoughts on, my vision of how this might work is not that we would have a special necessarily event that was sponsored by public safety, or that we would tag on to events that are going to occur on the island, so that if, for example, at Fest or whatever, there's a public safety location, like where the fire department or the sheriff's department has a booth or something where they're going to do some interaction with the public, that's where we would show up and do our thing with them. That's kind of the way I sort of saw us. Maybe we could respond to some specific events, you know, maybe condo associations that are having a big annual meeting or something, and you want to try to go in and talk a little bit about public safety, and if they invited us.
What about the kids at the school? They always do their Christmas program. What about if we hand out like bells then?
Again,
That's what I'd like to
there's a good
coordinate
event to tag on to, right?
Right.
I'm with you, that's why I wanted to talk to her about what they're talking about, pop-ups, where are they doing pop-ups? We get to March and this, you know, that we're thick in the season, it's.
Women's Club is doing a function too for the holidays.
December 10th, so we've got that event, and during the day at the, and there's a little show there, we can do some, since we are on the committee.
Another question I had as part of the, I suppose that's the sub thing here, town council mandate and what are your thoughts, Dan, about what direction that might go in terms of improving the ordinance to require people that rent bicycles to have those bicycles equipped with lights and audio?
I have that on my list to bring up to add to an agenda management.
All right, so I'll add those things, and I'll get an update on where we're at after I've met with Jenny, and we'll get some things up for distribution. Next item is the public safety webpage and education. We've been talking a lot about Neighborhood Watch, about fire safety and educational materials. I think we have to make a decision as to, and I think then we provide it to Jenny, as to what kind of information we want on the public safety webpage and how we could let everyone know. And I don't know if we want to come up with a list of items that we think is important that everybody who comes to the island or lives here should be aware of.
I think that's a great idea. I think we should all come up with a list, and then we can email them to, we could email our list to Randy, and then we can consolidate the list at our next meeting and go over it.
Perfect.
And decide which we think is best.
I'll move forward.
Maybe look into setting up, if there's different sections that want Neighborhood Watch, maybe look into how we can start setting that up, and for different areas of neighborhoods that would want Neighborhood Watch.
I'd be happy to call county sheriff and talk to them to see, to the woman who runs, I keep forgetting her name and I apologize, who runs a Neighborhood Watch on the island. They come and do a program. I can't remember her name. But she does a wonderful job. We can reach out to her and say, you know, how would you like us to handle it? We could put a contact number if you're interested to have a Neighborhood Watch. We do, maybe the safety committee puts on even a joint session for anybody on the island, any neighborhood who's interested, and she does one big event.
Or we could advertise it that she's going to be at our meeting
Exactly.
and get it out there that,
It is Tiffany Wood.
get it out there so that people can come and,
Perhaps you could coordinate it with the outreach center at Beach Baptist.
oh, great idea.
My goal is to, instead of having all these small pods and little meetings, we could come up with some ideas that are more global, and that we are the conduit to information to getting out, and the webpage that we have online is somewhere where everybody can find the items that they want about safety, and adding to it if we need to take off things, and then we can work with the town to add additional items, and even with some of the churches, they have some things that are going on that about safety and lighting and whatever. Fire safety educational materials. I know we've talked back and forth, and I think we have to, I don't know if this is on, if we are the ones to make this decision. We've proposed it that maybe that if you would like to have your rentals inspected, work with the fire department. I know that the fire department said they already have those options, and but yes.
So the fire department does have a program already for going in. We have checklists that were talked about in the last meeting. That stuff already exists. after the last meeting, I talked with our fire official, Jen Campbell. And also handles a lot of our website information as far as the safety programs that we have available. So I made a note to get to Randy all the links to the programs that we have available. So on behalf of the fire department, I'll get him that information. And if you want to talk with the town's webmaster, whoever handles the town site, all the paperwork on, looks like maybe a template page or something. And yeah, we'll be glad to make those links. And
Right. I have a question. Do you guys have stickers like for families that you can put in a window where there's like a child's bedroom?
yeah, we do. So that particular program is a nationwide program. Tot Finder, it's called.
Okay.
We have that, but also our internal program that the fire department did a few years back is called Slumber Safe. And that is something, part of that program is for the property owners who voluntarily go through and bring their properties up. We will come in, even the 1 and 2 families, and look at it and say, yes, your fire extinguisher's right, your alarms are right. You can use that Slumber Safe icon when they're advertising their properties on RBO or wherever they advertise them, and draw people to our website. What's Slumber Safe? They come to the website and they go, oh, this property's been inspected and verified.
And those tot, did you say tot stickers they call them?
Tot Finder, I believe, is the
Finder?
national program, but like I said, we have the Slumber Safe also.
Right, and that might be something that we can incorporate, like if we handed out, if we went to the school for, say, the Christmas program, we could hand those out, those stickers out to families, along with like bells for the bikes or something like that.
You had asked at the last meeting about inspections, fire inspections. I did a little research and spoke to the chief about it a little. Are certain properties that are not required to have an inspection. They would be properties that are not advertised as transient vacation, short-term, or timeshare rentals. So it's not advertised as a rent. Or a two-family home where the owner occupies one half of the two-family for at least 6 months out of the year. They're not required under the ordinance to get fire inspection. And of course, then properties that automatically receive inspections don't have to get an additional inspection. Businesses and hotels. Single-family homes that are occupied by their owner are not required to have a fire inspection. However, if they call and they want a fire inspection, the fire department will come out and provide such an inspection in all those cases for free. It's not a full inspection. They come in and do a walk. Correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. They come in and do like a walkthrough. They have a checklist. They provide information to the owner. There's no follow-up to see if the owner fixed it, the problem or anything like that. Where there would be in a regular fire inspection, they would come back and make sure that if they identified deficiencies, those would get corrected. So there is a free service out there, but when I started to say that at the last meeting, I had to correct myself because I'm like, I don't want to obligate the fire department to something that's not there, so I had to go double check on it. But
Because when they come to do an inspection, they send an email, saying what day works or whatever, and then they send a list ahead of time. So if you go through your list, they should never have to come. Generally, they shouldn't have to come back. If you have everything on the list they send you, generally it's all good.
You can spot your own deficiencies sometimes and correct them before they even get there.
Biggest thing I think with that is the change in the fire extinguishers, how they've changed recently from a certain amount to a new amount. A lot larger size, yeah.
I think it's just I think our goal would be to connect all the dots of all the different groups so that we can provide the data and information that's already out there. We don't need to reinvent the wheel and get it out to the community so that they can see it and find the links and not be.
I would say that we don't also want to overwhelm the people that are going into the site. So if we have like some user interface, like concentration on that, whether it's not a ton of links, but it's something that could be interactive that has links embedded in it, be more user friendly.
Short little agenda till we get to some new stuff. That's it. MPO meeting updates?
Tom was our MPO contact, so I think we need to,
Yes. Name who would take that place.
Anybody like to?
Is it?
Give
It's
us an
monthly.
update. I'm not sure even how much often he met.
I want to say it's monthly.
A liaison to go to the county?
thanks.
I'll give you that information.
Okay, member items.
Have anything specific?
Don't either.
I'll go at the end. Ann?
I would like to get the information though, Dawn, from you if you have it, for Tiffany for the neighborhood watch.
Ann?
Yeah, yesterday at the meeting, it was brought up that in the past, Public Safety Committee was tasked with segmenting the island, if you will, into 3 parts and searching out lights that are not working. Whether they, after turtle season is over, obviously they turn all lights back on the side streets as well as Estero Boulevard. The council would like to know if the committee would like to take that back up as a task to provide a report to Randy that he could provide to the rest of the staff as to what lights are not properly working throughout the island.
How about streetlights?
Street lights, yes.
Have a list of the lights that they turned off?
I can get that for you. Maybe Randy, if you could get that for him.
I mean, all of them are supposed to be on now.
Correct.
I was gonna add to that, I'm fine with dividing up between our group if we want. Give us a deadline, I'd like a deadline, if did they give us when they would like to know as soon, by a certain date? Obviously as soon as possible, but
Yeah, the sooner we know about it, the sooner they can get fixed.
I will say that there is some community development staff that does that periodically and reports it to us, whether it's through FPL or the request tracker feature that's online. So if you guys want to take that over, have to let council know.
we wouldn't, you mean, you were saying if we're gonna divide it up and then just report back to you, I was actually gonna add to that to say, I would like to put an emphasis on the webpage, ask the community as well, that links it back to the PL site where you say if a light is out, to say if your turtle light's not on, because we might miss something. So we might as well ask people who live in that neighborhood, if they see something, to go online, give them the website, and then click through to say, yes, this was up.
Because all they need is the number on the pole, correct?
And if it's a blue pole, those have numbers as well, but those are town maintained, so that they would have to go through the website, the town website, and not through FPL. Packet or request feature that you report the light outage, and then that's when we would go out there and replace or coordinate with an electrical company.
Okay, so basically then, we want to get that out immediately to people. I mean, I don't mind taking the north end, since I live up there, I'll scoot the loop and do that. But I would like to put something out to the residents to say, immediately, if you notice that it's not on, if it's a blue pole, and this is the number, go to the town website and click here to let us know that it's out. And if it's not a blue pole, this is the website you need to go to FPL, they maintain it.
We can do a social media post and
That'd be great.
put that out.
If I take north end, does anybody want to take a couple little turns?
I can take the mid-island.
I can do the south, unless Mike, you want to do it?
Yeah, we could do it together.
Right.
Can I do like San Carlos to Bowditch?
Yes, you can. I'll take that off my list.
Okay.
Good. Try to get those done in the next 2 to 3 weeks, guys. Back to the
Do
town.
that list of the lights that they turned off.
So turn off, okay, so there isn't like repeated work turned off. That's you.
We can hunt them down and make on.
We're just looking for street lights that are out. I just want to make sure I'm clear on this.
Yes.
Just blue poles.
So For your
Any
section,
light.
it would be blue poles, every other one would be FPL,
And FPL has a number on it, right? So,
both of them do,
any of them,
The blue poles have number as well.
numbered.
okay.
Town has a record of
Numbers on the FPL poles are TLN numbers. Like a little metal strip.
what does the blue ones look like?
Reflective, silver. They're at the
They're
top.
reflective silver, therefore they're called blue.
Just,
Sorry. Are they blue or are they silver?
The poles are blue,
Okay, good.
but the numbers are silver.
most of these poles are gonna be back in the neighborhood though, right? Poles.
No, those are along, Times Square and Old San Carlos. Or the,
Great. Anything else, Dan?
That was it at this time.
Then you're gonna get back to us, which we already talked about. Blue. I have one item that Jenny requested funds to print and distribute the safety tips. This 911 flyer, you all have a copy of it. It's basically same thing that Lee County Sheriff said, lock your home, lock your car, prevent your bike theft, and get it ready to go. Is it $27 is what she wanted to pay?
yes.
I think that's fine. I would motion that we say that's,
Where do they want us to distribute these?
she's gonna distribute it.
Those would be within the pop-up shop, or not pop-up shops, but the pop-up events that we'd coordinate with public safety.
Okay,
She'll distribute, I read that again, that she's disseminating them, not us.
It's just a handout that she would.
We'll hand out.
And I believe if you guys accept that, then you'll make a motion to acquire funds from the add-on list this fiscal year.
Make a motion to accept add-ons to the pricing from the add-on. Approved. I don't think I have, I guess the other thing I wanted to say about member items is, wanted to be a little more proactive this year, that if we come up with something, let's get it on the agenda, let's get a timeline on it, so that we can say we did it, or we didn't do it, and why, and then. But I know we've had some ideas, and I want to make sure that the communication between what we come up with and we say it down, if they're the ones who have to do it, or to council, and thought that, I know we were waiting some time, over 2 or 3 years, on some of those action items from last time, and I felt bad for the town council that they had no idea on some of the items because they weren't in office when it first started. So we can and try to do a yearly run. So at the end of the year, hit some objectives and completed them, that don't have to go through that joint effort of fusion, I would say. That's it. The next meeting agenda, and
public comment, we don't have any,
nothing,
no public comment.
no public comment.
This meeting is set for December 21st. That's something that we can all make, or would we like to reschedule to the following month?
Or
The
do we just
21st?
waive the December?
Be close to Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
We waive our December, we didn't waive it this summer, so we haven't waived one yet this
Haven't
year.
waived one at all this year. So I would recommend we just waive, if we can, if it's okay.
Motions to waive, any second?
Second.
A second. And then maybe
So then our
we,
next meeting is in January.
January.
What's that date gonna
February
be?
18th.
January 18th.
and by then, we should have, you'll have sent a, you meet with Denise, you'll have sent that information to Randy, and then maybe we can just go back, email, and we needed to get a, we're gonna send our recommendations to him for,
You know, the safety items.
safety items,
Yes.
So that's on the back page, yeah. We can do that, and maybe,
Yeah, that gives you enough time to get everything done, and
One thing. Make up a sheet with everybody's phone number on it.
So we can pass each other.
Send that out to everyone.
the fire and sheriff on those numbers? Because sometimes I'd like to
Okay.
just, if I need a meeting, it'd be nice to call, find out who to call. I know I can call the office, but sometimes. Right. Yeah, we can adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?